Okay, I now have the seeds. So we have long hair grass and mini leaf. Now I'm just using saran wrap to make a lid for this tank until I can put something better. I'm not even going to use a lid on this tank. I don't like the color of it, and I don't like the fluorescent lights. I'm just going to use 2 LED floodlights that I got on Amazon a long time ago. Saran wrap loves to cling to itself until you actually need it to. Now the directions basically say, put the wet mud, sand, or other fundamental element and rocks, woods, and other decor as you plan. Scatter the seeds on the right places. Find the density of the seeds, but it doesn't actually specify how dense you want them. Don't cover with water or seeds will float. Keep the air temperature inside the tank at 25 to 28 Celsius, which I believe is around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If necessary, with a halogen light or a heater for the seeds to sprout, spray some water 1 to 2 times each day to keep the soil moist. After 3 to 5 days, the seeds will sprout. Still need to have the light on it to keep them necessarily growing. And once most of the seeds have sprouted, if leaves come out, I'm able to submerge them in water. So it says on day 10 to 12, when the height of the mini leaf grass reaches 0.6 inches in length, or long hair reaches about 1 or 2 inches, add water to fill the tank, and then run the circulation pump. So, just have to spray the tank. This is the seed coverage that I have so far. Not exactly uniform, but I mean, it should just feel that I use a lot of seeds. I am actually going to use part of the old top. So I have something to set the light on. And this is the light I'm going to be using. It's a floodlight I got on Amazon. It's a 30-watt LED light. It gets pretty hot. It does some bright light. I've used it for that other tank over there. When the light went out, it was cheaper to buy one of these than buy a replacement fluorescent, so I just ended up going with new lights. As you can see, the light is pretty bright. Hopefully it'll do the trick. If not, I will have to either get another one, or I have some lights I can use from some old tanks that I can just grab. They're just not here. I'll actually take some footage in between of the progress of the growth, if they grow at all. So I'll see you then. So I set up the tank and they have the LEDs going. However, I don't think it's actually going to get warm enough, so I came up with this. This is just a jug of water with a tank heater in it. So that, yeah, I'm just gonna set it to 88 degrees, however the max is, 90 degrees. Put it over there on the sandy side and let it run. So that way it'll be thermostatically controlled, and this will be 90. I assume the tank will be relatively lower than that, around 80-ish degrees. So hopefully that'll solve my problem, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So this is what I've come up with. It should work fine. We'll see. I'll take a temperature reading in there in the morning. Right now it should be pretty warm. I filled it up with hot water, so hopefully it'll warm the tank up. But in the worst case, I'll have to go get one of those heating mats that goes on the bottom of the tank. I mean, I suppose I could use a heating pad for like back pain or something like that, but I don't know if I want to use that so much. I also think I'm going to take some of these seeds that were left over on the corrugated plastic. There's some down here on the bottom that got on there, and I'm going to try to plant those in something and just set them somewhere and see if they grow. See if you know, that has any, putting it in the tank with the heater has any difference versus just putting it in dirt. So this is day 2. Some of them actually have little fluffs coming out of the end. It kind of looks like, I thought it was mold at first, but it might be germinating. These grass seeds here in the back, long hair grass. These have nothing so far. I did my idea here with the water jug, keeps it kind of stable in there. However, in the mornings when I turn the lights on, it's down to 72, so I have to add this halogen light for a little while to get the temperature back up, and then once it gets up to 80, I can put the plastic back over it and remove the halogen light, and it'll usually stay that temperature throughout the day. So I had to add the LED light inside the tank to keep it warm, because it just wasn't putting enough heat in there. So I'll update you guys in a day. There's one sprouting. There are a couple more sprouting that I didn't notice until now. This one, it's maybe half an inch root growing out of it. Then there's a couple of others that are sprouting. But so far, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of activity. Now this side will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see because I don't have very much light over here. It's all kind of concentrated in the center. It's pretty dark over here. I'm gonna have to get another light. I was planning on using the light from this tank, but in my forethought, I didn't realize that I'm gonna need to use it for that tank while it's still up. So I'll have to figure something out. Oddly enough, none of these baby tears, I think they're called, none of them have started sprouting yet. The package did say 2 days for germination, but I haven't seen anything, and this is the second day. This is my experiment that I did with some seeds. So far, none of the seeds have sprouted. Well, this one over here, it seems like it's sprouting. There's the little tufts on top of it. Not really sure what those are. I guess those are just kind of feeler roots, or maybe to hold it in place. Not necessarily sure. But none of these smaller seeds have sprouted for the baby grass. Today is day 3. Maybe you can see some of them are growing quite well. hard to see through the condensation, but there's a few that are a couple inches tall, and there's some seeds growing, some roots that are pretty deep. Nothing so far.
Piece of toast.
So this is the morning of day 4. There's actually some green starting to grow on the baby leaf, or baby cheers. I think it's called baby leaf, actually. Small roots are showing up. And a couple little green sprouts. The grass is actually about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter tall in the back. It's all sprouting. The lighting wasn't sufficient, so I've been using this to heat up the tank in the mornings, and then I added the other light in order to cheap light for the 10 gallon. This is the evening of day 5. I added a jar of some plants with some plant food in it, just to kind of keep them hydrated while I have them out of the old tank, in case there's any algae or anything on them. But significantly good amount of growth compared to the last 2 days. This is day 6. Grass is probably 5 inches tall today. I got some shovel moss. I was gonna put it in the tank, but I don't know if I'm going to yet. And then I picked up 3 more Julie quarries to go with the other 5 that I have. So we'll see where that goes. We should be able to put water in the tank in about 3 days, 2 days. I'll keep you updated. This is evening of day 7. Plants have grown quite a bit. The mini leaf is maybe almost a 1/4 inch tall, which is about what it was calling for when you're able to fill the tank with water. The grass is still growing. It's long enough that it can't even hold itself up now. I'd say it probably grows 1/2 inch a day, maybe more. And I just had to set up this quarantine tank because this guy, he's got some issues going on. Tried to save him from the onslaught of mollies destroying him in the communal tank at Petco, but he's got some problems and didn't want him to infect my tank, current tank. He's got some gray on the side of his face. Not really sure what's going on there, but his fin is clamped and knocking stuff over. He favors one fin, and he's missing scales on his side from the attacks, I guess. But his fin is a little rotting as well. This side actually seems okay. I actually did get another one, but he did not look well when we got him, so the clerk, I guess, the clerk gave us, he just gave it to us for free, but he did make the night, so. He seems to be okay, but he's kind of lethargic. That's his gray spot on the right side of him. I don't know exactly what it is. But I got this tank set up. I put half tank water in there and then half fresh water. And I'm going to, well, I already treated it with Melifix. Can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. Unfortunately, he did not make it through the night. Not really sure what was wrong with him. But I tried. I used this stuff. A few effects. But nothing seemed to work for him, so he lasted 2 days. I just feel bad because I tried to rescue him, but there's only so much I can do. So I guess I'll see if I can save another one. The test jar that I did, I didn't even really open it or water it. All I did was close it up and put it under the light, and it seems to have everything inside of it growing. So, success. The mini leaf is looking pretty good. It is definitely carpeting the whole tank. It's about almost a 1/4 inch tall, which is about what they were saying to 0.3 inches, which in caveman is 3/16. So it's about time to add the water. I'll probably get it set up tomorrow. After the Gourami didn't make it, I took him back to the store, and I ended up getting cherry barbs instead. So. This is how tall the grass is now. Maybe it's probably 7 or 8 inches long. That's the Java moss that I bought. I'm just keeping it in a tank. And the plants that I put in here temporarily, that's just fertilizer in there. That's why the water's a different color. And these are the cherry barbs. I got 6 of them from Petco. They're only $3 a piece, so pretty cheap. They exchanged my credit, or the other fish that had not made it through the night. They just gave me $10 for him, which is what I paid for him, and then I just ended up getting this and paying $8 more to get 6 of these cherry barbs. I think it's a pretty good deal. They're obviously going to go in this temporary tank as a hospital tank or quarantine tank until I'm certain they're free of ailments, and then I'll put them in the 10-gallon that's established. Once I move them into the 10-gallon that's established, though, there'll be probably 16 fish in here. You can see I added the filter media, the biomedia, just in a bag so I can start getting some beneficial bacteria growing on it. They are actually trying to jump out of the bag. I have the bag open so they can breathe, but they're almost making their way out. I'm trying to acclimate them a little bit by little bit. Just putting some water in the bag and then operating it. And they've been in here for maybe 15 minutes, so the temperature should be equal. But that's how you acclimate new fish, if anybody's wondering. There's a drip method, which is for really sensitive fish, but these barbs, I don't think they're going to be too much of a hassle. Just put some water in there. I mean, I've done this my entire life. I just put some water from the tank in the bag, and then, once the bag's up to temperature, just add a little more water. You add some more water until they're 50-50 new water, 50-50 old water, and then you can move them to the tank. However, when you do it, you really should be taking a net and scooping them out of the bag and putting them into the tank with no water from the fish store, because you never know what kind of bacteria you're bringing in from the fish store. If you're new to the hobby or just watching the video for curiosity, that's one tip I can give you: is don't ever contaminate your water with water from the fish store, because there could be any type of bacteria or parasites or algae, really anything, you know, so just got to keep them out of your tank, keep your tank healthy. Here they are swimming in the quarantine tank. Seem to be doing alright. I don't notice anything really going on with them. They seem healthy enough. No ailments that I can see off the top of my head, so. We'll keep an eye on them for a few days.